afternoon, YouTube. We're on the Pursuit, and we're off on a couple of missions right now. So, potentially big things happening today. Let's go, I'll tell you about it. Alright, so, we're off to go run a couple of errands here. I'm going to go get a crank sensor for the Sportster, but more importantly, I'm off to talk to a guy about renting a building that I can use for a shop. So hopefully all goes to plan, and I'm sure it will, because I've known the guy a long time. He's actually a good friend of mine and a former employer, and I'll be able to open my own business in this building and have my own motorcycle shop. It's kind of starting to get real. And I haven't signed no papers yet. I don't know if he'll even want to sign papers, but it's hard to tell with him. I'm sure he will want to sign papers. He tends to be a handshake kind of guy, but we'll see how it goes. But once money and keys have exchanged hands, it's going to be all stress. But I can't wait to own my own business and work for myself. Not a very big building, but I can get at least 2 bike lifts in there, maybe 3, and have a little bit of room for some shelving and parts inventory and my tire machines and whatnot. It's big enough for one guy to work on bikes by himself. So I guess that's big enough. And if it all works out, I'll be incredibly lucky, because he's already got waste oil storage and coolant and all that on site. Air to my building will be pumped in from the main shop, so I won't need to buy a compressor. He's got a hydraulic press and a sandblaster down in his shop in the main building that I'm sure he won't care if I use, which is good, because it's such a small building that I don't have a lot of space in there. I probably will get my own press eventually, just because I'll probably wind up using it frequently enough, but maybe not, we'll see. I mean, eventually I'll have to get a compressor, a sandblaster, and a press, and some equipment like that when I move into another larger location, but that's a long ways off. Right now I'm worried about getting any building I can, and then getting LLC and business license and a parts supplier and more tools and equipment and tires and tubes and oil and gaskets and bits and pieces and parts to have for overhead. Yeah, an accounting system, a shop software system to run ROs off of. Getting customers. Getting customers would be good. Ooh, it's only 35 here. And this is a sort of semi-commercial area with lots of pedestrians, so it's kind of a big deal to do the speed limit here. This is so much better of a ride than that old electric Glide. Much easier, smoother clutch. I mean, that thing's probably got a 20-pound pull on the clutch. This thing, so soft. Such a light clutch. And so much more torque. We're going for it. That's a short light. I'm going to need new business cards and signs. And customers, gonna need customers. I think I've said that already. Probably a little early. He just said Monday afternoon. Well, his vehicles are here. Yeah, there it is, the radiator shop. That hill's gonna suck, but it'll be better than no building at all. The building is mine to use. So now I have to go get all the paperwork. I don't think I'm going to worry about finding a crank sensor for that Sporty today. I got too much else to do. He was even kind enough to give me the use of a great big trailer to start moving stuff into the shop with. So probably not tomorrow, but the next day. Maybe tomorrow, but probably the next day. I'll start moving stuff into that shop. I'm gonna go talk to a sign company tomorrow. Get my sign made and put up there. And out on the street. And holy shit, it's finally really happening. So it's been 1 week exactly since that ride, and since I got my my shop. That afternoon after I got home, I applied for my LLC. You can't get a business license until you have an LLC, and they won't give you a business license without an address on the LLC and the business license that is zoned properly for what you want to do. So I had to get a building and then apply for everything. So I'm currently paying rent on this building and waiting for my LLC to be processed. You don't necessarily have to form an LLC, but you have to create some kind of legal business entity before you can get a business license, at least in this state. And there's lots of ways you can do that. There's a ton of online options to form your LLC. And there's lots of little legal companies out there that want you to use them to do it, and they charge ridiculous money. In my case, I went directly to the state's website and paid them, because you got to pay them regardless. You got to, whether you use a third party or whether you go directly to the state yourself to do it, you have to pay the state a fairly substantial fee. And then your LLC or whatever business entity you decide to create gets processed, and you get a number. In this state, it's called a UBI number. And then you need that number to apply for your business license. So it's kind of a long, drawn-out process. The website for the LLC says it should take 2 to 5 business days. Last Friday was day 5, and I still didn't have my UBI number. So I called them Friday morning, and they found it. They found it right while I was on the phone with them. So they probably could have submitted it right then and given me a number, but they wouldn't. Because they were still it was the 16th. Monday was the 16th when I applied for it, and it had been 5 days since then. So on Friday, they were still processing LLCs that had been submitted on the 3rd. And they told me it would be another 16 business days before they got to mine. But I could go to their office, which is 400 miles from where I stand. So an 800-mile round trip, and give them $50 to expedite the processing, and I should have it within 24 hours. Well, obviously an 800-mile round trip, with fuel prices being what they are and dumping every penny I've got into equipment and licensing and signs and everything else, while I'm moving stuff into the shop and everything, it's just not feasible. And they won't take payment over the phone. And I ended up calling them back later that day, and I could mail them a check. So I wound up mailing them a check Saturday. They should have received the check by today. So hopefully I'll have my UBI number tomorrow, because once I have the UBI number, it's waiting again for the business license. So who knows how long that'll take. But over the past 7 days, well, 7 days, exactly. I've moved all the equipment that I could out of my home shop and into my actual business shop now. I've purchased, I've paid for signs that are on the way. They're making those. So those will be going up. I've purchased more equipment. I ordered a second lift. I'm just hemorrhaging money and sitting here and can't do a thing yet until I have my business license, or at least until I've applied for my business license. So here's the home shop now with everything out. Tire machines are at the new shop. My workbenches are both at the new shop. The only thing left to bring to the new shop is the big green toolbox. The little one's going to stay here because the new shop is actually not much larger than my home garage, but it is plenty big enough to do what I need to do. So it's kind of a waiting game right now, and it sucks because I'm just dumping money into it and I'm not getting anything out of it until I can open the doors and get to work. But I've called it, this box is too big and too heavy to move on a trailer myself. My Snap-on guy can't move it for me because it's too heavy for his lift gate and won't fit through the door of his Snap-on truck even if he could, because it's actually longer than his lift gate and too heavy. So I've got to hire a wrecker to move that. There's usually a tow driver that drives a ramp truck that is good and experienced with toolboxes, and your Snap-on guy will refer you to that guy. And I left him a message this morning, the tow guy that was recommended, so I'm waiting to hear from him so I can get that into the shop. And I'll make video of the new shop. I'm waiting for some stuff to come in the mail, and when it does, I'll go down to the shop and we'll make some video there too. But yeah, that's the last thing from the house that needs to go. And hopefully very soon I'll be able to open my doors and get to work. This is probably the most terrifying thing I've ever done. I'm technically a combat veteran. I've deployed to the desert who knows how many times, 10 times or so. I was in the Air Force for almost 10 years as an aircraft mechanic. I've been in places where people who didn't speak my language were riding around on Jeeps with belt-fed 50 cals pointed at us, and I've had guns pointed at me by people that didn't speak my language that were pissed off about something, and slept through a sniper attack. Been in an airplane that been in an airplane leaving the desert that had a missile lock on it while we were flying out. Been through some shit, and this is the scariest. This is the scariest fucking thing I've ever done, because I've literally got, my wife and I have everything we've got tied up in this, and if it fails, we're fucked. But it's not going to fail. And it's going to be worth it. So just need to get the doors open and get to work. I'm terrified and excited at the same time. So I'll be back later with video of the new shop. All right, this is the new shop. I'm still trying to get everything set up. Everything's chaos right now. But yeah, here's where we're at right now. I think all that stuff's going to go away. That all belongs to my landlord. I need to put some shelving up over there. He said I could use it if I wanted to. He said I could use those cabinets if I wanted to. I honestly don't think I'm going to have room for them, because they're not just open inside. They're packed full of little shelves and bins and stuff, so they're not very useful for me as they are right now. But we'll see. I might use them, I might not. But this is probably going to go. That bench is going to go home when I'm done using it, just because I don't have space. Once those shelves are set up nice, they'll be good to go. And there's, like I said, I'm going to put another one over here, maybe two. Because I need some place to display product for the wholesaler I'm trying to get a contract with. So that'll be a good spot for that. There's going to be a second lift right where I'm standing. So I got the one I've had for a while right there. Tire machines are all here. Still got to deal with that tire balancer. I need to order some parts for it. I need to calibrate it. But at least I can change tires and balance them with my truing stand. But yeah, it's just total chaos right now. I'm waiting for the state. My signs are paid for, but they're not here yet. They're still being made. I'm still waiting for paperwork from the state so that I can wait for more paperwork from the state. Let's see, I got phones coming in Wednesday, like 1 week from today, Wednesday. I just want to get it set up and ready, and I might have to go to a local auto parts store and pay retail for some engine oil and stuff, so at least I'll have something that I can at least do oil changes. Because I need to get this thing open and making money soon. But yeah, there's your little sneak peek at the shop. Yeah, why don't we go show you the outside. That's the main shop. That belongs to Charlie's Automotive. That's who I'm renting from. Super good guy. If you're in the Tri-Cities and need auto work, you should take it here because they do excellent work. I worked for him for 3 years, and we don't turn out anything but top quality. So there's the outside of the building. And yeah, I still got to clean all that junk up too, but she's coming along. And obviously the radiator service sign's going to go away, and my sign's going to go there, and I'll have signs on the street too. So that's where we stand so far with the new shop. All right, hope you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.